I've played a ton of games this year. From big games to tiny teams and all the indies in between, it has been a great year for gaming. With all the big game awards shows out of the way or underway, it's time to throw my hat in the ring. So move over, Geoff Keighley, because it's time for the Your Friend Jacob Indie Games of the Year 2021. Sit back, relax, and let's get right into the list. Starting off the list strong is Treasures of the Aegean. Treasures of the Aegean is a historical action thriller featuring parkour master Marie Taylor and treasure hunter James Andrews. They uncover secrets of a forgotten civilization which is trapped in a time loop. This was one of my favorite demos of the most recent Steam Next Fest, so my expectations were high leading into the full release. Well, I'm happy to say this game vaulted right over those expectations with fluid platforming that truly captured the parkour vibes that I was hoping to experience. The game has a wonderful comic book style presentation that was so crisp visually and carried over seamlessly from story cutscenes to actual gameplay. The non-linear open world was a joy to explore, and the puzzle solving elements added to an experience that I highly recommend. At number 9, we have two games to praise here in Toree 3D and Toree 2, and I'm not sure you're gonna find better 3D platformers for the price of just $1 each. If you like 3D platformers, vibrant colors, adorable mascots, and an elevated PS1 era aesthetic, then you need to pick these games up. It can be very difficult to strike a balance between speed, flow, and exploration, but the Toree series strikes that balance in a way that is so impressive. If you're looking to speedrun these games, there's incentive for that. If you're like me and want to focus on collecting every star and CD you can, there's incentive for that as well. I can't get enough of this game's aesthetic, and the color choices of every level are perfectly executed. The soundtrack of each game respectively is a late 90s homage that fits so well, and for bite-sized platformers, playing through either one of the Toree games, or preferably both, should leave you very satisfied. Next up, we have one of the most beautiful games I've played all year with Greak, Memories of Azur. Greak is a 2D action puzzle platformer with light Metroidvania elements, and just take a look at this stunning hand-drawn art and animation. The cutscenes throughout Greak feel like a classic cartoon you wish had existed when you were growing up, and the in-game animations do a great job in matching the heroic fantasy presentation. Where Greak shines in its gameplay is the puzzle-solving and multi-character switching mechanic. You play up to 3 characters at the same time, each with their own unique abilities, attack styles, defenses, and weaknesses. These characters can work together to solve clever puzzles and traverse maze-like castle dungeons in ways that you need to experience for yourself. I particularly love this game's ending, as well as the developer's commitment to accessibility, which I always love to see. At number 7, we have, in my opinion, the most adorable and cozy game of 2021 with Haven Park. Haven Park is a top-down 3D exploration adventure all about building a beloved park back up while meeting a colorful cast of campers in the process. In my review of Haven Park earlier this year, I said that this was the gaming equivalent of a warm blanket fresh out of the dryer, and months later, that sentiment still remains true. As you build up Haven Park, you embark on a relaxing journey that tackles responsibility in a healthy way. This is an experience that lets you go at your own pace and explore wherever you want. The visuals are gorgeous, and the sound design really captures the feeling of being in nature and exploring a campground. Additionally, this game is a gift that keeps on giving, as Haven Park has had 2 significant updates post-launch that add new areas to explore. For cozy game fans, make sure to pick this one up. Next up, we have one of the most Nintendo-era Rare-inspired platformers I've played in quite some time with Kaze and the Wild Masks. This is a 90s-inspired classic platformer through and through, complete with collectibles, secret areas, challenges, and memorable bosses. The pixel art is stellar, and the level design definitely captures the Donkey Kong Country inspiration exquisitely. The inclusion of several masks, each with unique abilities and movement options, really elevates this title to the next level. Underwater levels feel fun, autorunner levels mix things up nicely, and finding hidden secrets always feels rewarding. This platformer is the most Donkey Kong Country style platformer since Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, and considering that game is one of my favorite platformers, that's high praise indeed. At number 5, we have one of the most unique presentations of any game this year with Inglet. Inglet is a 2D platformer without platforms. That's right, it's a platformer without platforms, which may seem like an unusual concept, but it works so well. Visually, Inglet is outstanding, with a style that I can only describe as expressive minimalism, which may seem a bit oxymoronic, but if you play it, you'll totally get what I mean. Audio-wise, Inglet features a reactive and dynamic soundtrack that makes every movement, dash, and even every save feel special. Speaking of saving, almost every bubble you move through allows you to create your own checkpoints, which is a feature I absolutely loved. Inglet is an unforgettable sensory experience that I can recommend to just about everyone, and with its shorter runtime, it's one that I hope every platformer fan checks out and takes their time with. From one unique platformer to another, up next we have Super Magbot. Super Magbot is a 16-bit inspired precision platformer where you can't jump. Instead of having the ability to jump, you're armed with the power of magnetic polarity to navigate difficult levels and treacherous traps. This creates an experience that will completely change your approach to platforming. There is a learning curve, but Super Magbot eases you in effectively and introduces new ways to use your magnetic powers to their full potential. The bosses really test your understanding of this moveset, and defeating those boss stages was a definite highlight for me. The game also has a great soundtrack and wonderful pixel art to tie everything together. The bits of story unique to each level was another standout of Super Magbot, and I found myself really connected to those NPCs that I wanted to help out. I never thought a platformer without jumping could be this fun. At number 3, we have my new most favorite Spot the Difference style game with Tiny Lands. Tiny Lands takes the Spot the Difference game formula and elevates it with a beautiful low poly aesthetic and a lovely soundtrack, which creates a relaxing experience that can't be missed. As you observe incredible side-by-side dioramas, you'll need to spot a handful of differences between them. Some differences differences may be more obvious at first, but often when you need to find that last one, your observational skills will be put to the test. But this is a stress-free experience. There's no time limit and no penalties for mistakes, so you can go at your own pace. Playing this on Thanksgiving was a highlight of the year for me, as my whole family joined in on finding the differences, which was a very special moment. The sound design is superb, and the overall package keeps getting better with more dioramas dropping in post-launch updates. I highly recommend it. Next up features the conclusion of one of my favorite gaming series of all time with Love 3. Love 3 is a precision platformer with a minimalist aesthetic and a soundtrack that is my favorite soundtrack of 2021. As mentioned in previous videos, the Love series is my gaming comfort food. When I can't decide on what to play next or I'm feeling down, I always come back to these games, and Love 3 is no exception. Even long after I've finished Love 3 for the first time, I keep coming back to try and improve. Whether that's finishing in less than 100 deaths or 50 or completing the game in less than 25 minutes, I always have a new challenge for myself every time I play. Fred Wood deserves a ton of credit for creating 3 games that up their game with each entry, yet still stand out as amazing experiences individually. With Love 1 and Love 2 included, along with remixes as well, this is a must-buy for any 2D platformer fan. At number 1, we have one of the most visually captivating experiences I've had in gaming with Omno. Omno is a cinematic 3D puzzle platformer adventure game that is the result of 5 years of carefully crafting a fantastical and mysterious experience as a hobby project, which is still mind-blowing to think about. As you traverse through Omno's wondrous and detailed worlds, you'll explore and catalog flora and fauna and interact with platforming and puzzle-solving sections along the way. The game is visually stunning, but audio-wise, the soundtrack and sound design perfectly complement the curiosity and vibrancy being created by the game's visuals. While being a standout audio and visual experience is great, the gameplay needs to hold up as well, and thankfully in Omno, it does. Using your staff as a surfboard of sorts for the first time is exhilarating, and interacting with the smallest and largest of creatures always feels impactful. For these reasons and many more, it deserves my game of the year. And there we have it, my top indie games of 2021. What were your favorite indie games of this year? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave a like, and if you're always in search of your next favorite games, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. Speaking of more videos like this one, feel free to click on either of these links on screen now, and I hope to see you in the next one.